Hi and welcome back to Granite Fit. I am Granite Money, your calisthenics and bodyweight training expert. In today's video we're going to be focusing on handstands, specifically how you can unlock your first handstand or simply strengthen your current handstand from a 1 to 3 second hold to something like an 8 to 10 second hold. So if you're either one of those two people, then stay tuned for this video. I'm going to be breaking down the best handstand exercises and I'm going to be showing you why they work. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Alright guys, so for the first exercise, we're going to get straight into it with a frog pose. This basically means putting your elbows on the inside of your thighs or your quadriceps, and then what we're going to do is start to learn how it feels to hold our body weight without our legs, or should I say our feet, on the ground, which is excellent training for your handstand. So as I mentioned, bring your elbows to the inside of your legs, just like this. Place your hands on the ground about shoulder width apart. And then from here, what you're going to do is take your feet off the ground and lean forward and try to hold it for as long as you can, something like this. Once you get good at the frog pose, you want to move on to the crow pose. The reason why is because the crow pose means you're putting your elbows directly onto your knees. So as you can see, my elbows here are not as big as the inside of my thighs. So what's going to happen is the margin for error decreases significantly, meaning more balance involved and more strength involved. So as I explained, elbows and knees this time are in direct contact, and you want to do the same thing. Place your hands on the floor and lean slightly forward to get used to balancing more of your body weight, just like this. Guys, this is one variation that you should not be doing, because as you saw there, my back is completely arched and there is no core activation. With a handstand, you do need to have a posterior pelvic tilt, meaning you are pushing your hips forward. When you do the back to wall variation, you should not be able to hold the handstand properly because your back is going to arch. Let me show you exactly what I mean. With that out of the way, let's discuss the first and most important exercise that will help you to unlock the handstand, and it's going to be the wall assisted handstand, or in my case the tree assisted handstand. The point is to have an object that you can walk up against with your chest facing the wall, so that you can activate your core, squeeze your glutes and push your hips forward while pushing your hands into the ground, which will help you to hold the handstand. And one thing I want you to do is imagine that this tree is not here. I'm going to look pretty much identical as to how I look when I'm holding a handstand freestanding without any assistance. So you're going to go and put your hands down on the ground and walk up backwards and get your chest as close to the wall as possible, just like this. Once your wall assisted handstand has reached the 20 or 30 second mark, what you can do is the same thing, but instead of holding it with both legs against the wall for assistance, remove one leg. You can even work on removing one leg and then the other, aka alternating legs, just like this. And as you get stronger, you can begin working on picking up the speed at which you alternate your legs. So it will look something like this. Alright guys, so for a lot of you, the handstand on the floor might come naturally and it might be your end goal. but it's important to not have a big ego or be egotistical when you're training the handstand. And what I mean by that is, you need to buy a pair of parallettes. So these wooden handlebars, which is what they are called, is basically going to help you to train the handstand longer and help you to get stronger, basically, because of the fact that your wrist won't be subjected to as much pressure as it is when you're not using the parallettes. So call them the wooden handlebars or the parallettes, is up to you, but you should buy them because they're going to help you a lot, especially when it comes to balancing, as you can fully grip them, which you cannot do with the floor, and you can actually shift the parallettes back and forward, which will help you to learn how to balance even better. So it's worth mentioning that handstand on the parallettes is going to be much easier, and it's going to be worthwhile for you if you want to get your progress and your results fast and quick with the handstand. So as you can see right now, I'm in a position where I would be doing the handstand, and you can see my hands are moving very, very subtle. You might not notice it if you're not looking for it, but that's the difference between somebody who can handstand well and somebody who can't handstand at all. So the micro adjustments that you'll be making with your hands are going to make or break your handstand, because as I mentioned at the start of this video, it's not so much about strength, but it's more so about balance, and understanding that it's not a fluke and that it's actually a skill is what's going to make or break, and it's going to make the difference in your handstand training. So if I'm coming forward, I need to put pressure in the lower part of my hand or on the outside here to bring myself back. And if I'm coming back too much, I need to then put pressure on the front of my hand here to come forward. So if I'm coming forward too much, put pressure here to come back. And if I'm coming back too much, put pressure here to come forward. Another key tip, in this case when you're doing the handstand on the floor, is to claw the ground. You want to have a big space between your thumb and your little finger. Imagine that your three middle fingers are not here. How big is the gap? You want that gap to be as big as possible. Now the surface area of my entire hand is almost like a bear's hand. I'm clawing the ground, which is why I'm using that terminology. Think about making your hand as big as possible so that you have as much space on the floor to work with when you're trying to balance. Keeping your hand narrow and your fingers touching like this is going to be much harder, because as you can see, the surface area of my hand is a lot smaller, so I have less margin for error. So remember, fingers spaced out, and the thumb to the little finger should be as big of a gap as possible. Remember that you should have a slight curl in your fingers too, especially in the middle fingers here, so you don't want them flat, you want them slightly curled. So a perfect handstand position would be just like this, wide and a slight curl in the three middle fingers so that you can balance. And as I mentioned, if you're coming forward, put pressure in the back part of your hand, and if you're coming backwards, put pressure in the forward part of your hand, and there you go, you are now handstanding properly. You might be wondering, what is Granite doing right now? But this is basically the position that you're going to be in terms of your upper body on a handstand. And the reason why this is important is because it actually involves something called scapular elevation, which basically means your ability to push your hands up towards the sky while maintaining straight arms. As you can see, it's a very small movement, but it's going to be quite painful for you if you've never done it before, which is a symbol or a sign for you to work on it if you want to hold a fully straightened out handstand. Remember, the handstand requires you to have straight arms, not bent arms. If your arms are bent and you're holding like this, you're using too much upper body and you're not building on your balance enough. So focus on proper alignment, just like this. Push your hands up to the sky and back down. Up to the sky and back down. Think about bringing your shoulders closer to the bottom of your ears, just like this. This is going to help and elongate your body, making your handstand a lot straighter and a lot more aesthetic looking. And that's a wrap. If you like this video, smash the like button, comment where you are with your handstand training, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Remember that it's about progress, not perfection. These exercises will help you, but you do need to be patient with the handstand, as it's a skill and not essentially a movement that requires strength only. It's about balance, breathing and technique as well. So be patient and use these exercises to maximum effect. I am Granite Fit, and I'll see you in the next one.